Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This story is a little bit lighthearted and I do hope that you enjoy it. It's not as serious as some of the other stuff that I put up recently. If you do like it, please give it a thumbs up. Anyway, onto the story. I bought my first flat when I was in my 20s. I rented out a room to a guy from Poland. Awesome flatmate, super good at DIY and maintenance. I was seeing someone for a while. Let's call her Ghost. Ghost lived with two other girls, one of whom is the titular ex-friend. Let's call her Karen. Ghost and I broke up. From the imaginative name, you can guess what happened. And that whole friend group ditched me. My career went pretty well and I bought a house in the suburbs. I decided to let my flatmate stay on in the flat on the same rate, with the provision that he'd not sublet, but his girlfriend moves in, which is fine. I get the mortgage covered, and a tenant who's better at maintaining the place than I am, he gets a 2-bedroom flat for half the price. A few years on, and a certain idiotic referendum passes, and flatmate and his girlfriend are moving home to Poland. His girlfriend has already gone back, but when I'm over, sorting some stuff for flatmate, I see a huge pile of moving boxes, etc. in the spare room. Oh, is that girlfriend stuff? Are you going to be able to fit all that in your car? No, flatmate replies. That's Karen's stuff. She asked if she could leave it here while we were still here. As it turns out, Karen was still good friends with my ex-girlfriend. She found out they were leaving and that their rent was a pretty good deal. She told girlfriend that she had squared it all with me and that she was going to take it all over. I will confess to a few minutes of panic and confusion. I've not spoken to this person in years. She thinks that she's going to move into my flat and doesn't even ask. How on earth does she even intend to pay rent given that she made 0 attempts to contact me? And why would I not go for market rate? I'm honestly baffled and somewhat morbidly fascinated to find out if she actually thinks that this is going to work. I don't really want to get into some kind of ridiculous squatters' rights squabble with them. So I contact my solicitor. Think of like a non-trial lawyer. She recommends that I get the lock change and install a security camera and to send the inevitable proof hitting her way when Karen turns up and tries to get in. I actually think that she's quite excited by the drama, a bit more interesting than property conveyancing. I explain it all to the flatmate. He agrees to move out 2 weeks early and even helps me foot the bill for the doorbell camera. He really was the best. So that's where we are. I pretty much have the Ring app open constantly on my phone. I have pretty clear instructions not to say anything other than give my solicitor the information and record any and all correspondences when it happens. I'm presuming she will hear from girlfriend though. I'll post an update if anything interesting comes of it. Today at lunchtime, Karen turned up and tried to get in the flat. And she was not alone. Ghost was with her, and they had a key. I felt stupid for not remembering that Ghost probably had one from when we were together, or they got a copy from the girlfriend. Didn't think she'd keep it after she ditched me, but probably should have changed the locks back then. Oops, sorry tenants, my ex had a key to the flat the whole time. Camera didn't get the preamble, but they came up to the door and tried a key. It's not working. Some fumbling. He effing changed the locks. Some more descriptive language, presumably about me and my parentage, that I can't wait to have a solicitor read back to them. They continue to take turns trying the key. I connect at this point, but don't say anything. They tried the doorbell, but it doesn't make any noise because I'm connected. I think it lights up, but I guess they didn't realize that means that I'm watching. I thought Ring cameras had a siren to give them a fright, but couldn't find it. They bang on the door and window a bit before walking off. I stayed listening through the camera, but didn't hear anything. Still eerily quiet on my phone. I sent the video to the solicitor anyway. I've had 2 calls from unknown numbers. Not going to answer. We'll wait for someone to text me and send them the solicitor's contact information. More to come, I guess. In hindsight, I probably should have waited to see how this played out before posting. Solicitor would probably murder me if she knew I was doing this. After a whole bunch of phone calls from random numbers, I finally got one from Ghost's father. He was always a gentleman who I got on with, so I sent him a polite message saying that if this was about the flat, please direct this to my solicitor and give him the details. He said okay, and she said she contacted her and is going to meet her on Friday. So I guess I could update the title to Entitled X Wants Me to Be Her Landlord. I did some snooping on social media. I deleted my Facebook years ago. It seems Ghost and Karen's other housemate is getting married soon. They were all living rent-free in the bride's nan's old house. So I'm guessing impending nuptials are the reason that Ghost and Karen are looking for somewhere new and cheap to live. Not really my problem though. This is probably going to be the final update. It's taking a turn from entitlement to plain dumb. With my apologies, there's not much drama and it is all secondhand. Karen, Ghost, and Ghost's dad met with the solicitor today, where they unveiled their secret weapon. They had a copy of my lease from the old flatmate. I was right, in that their rent-free ride was over and they had no money saved. Ghost had been used to me as a cash machine for years, I guess, so I thought I would just roll over. LOL, no, as the kids might say. So these brainiacs' plan was that they would take over my existing lease agreement with flatmate and his girlfriend without my involvement. They had a key, they had my payment details from the tenancy agreement. Girlfriend just cost flatmate and her a wedding gift. Luckily, the account's sole purpose was for rent, so I can change the number easily. They thought that they could just write the names on the form as well and it would be legally binding. Never mind the fact that there is no subletting, the agreement was with someone else and the agreement was terminated by flatmate. Solicitor says that they only tried to argue their point for a minute before giving up. I guess meeting at her office gave her real home field psychological advantage, I think. That and every freaking law in the land. She was laughing on the phone about it. Honestly, these people are nearly 40. How they have no idea how a lease works is beyond me. Although I don't think they believed it. I think it's just because they got caught and are trying to spin. Long story short, Ghost's dad has agreed to pay a moving company to collect the boxes and bring them to his house. I need to be there for that, but I will slam the door at the first sign of anyone other than a mover. I'm out about 350 quid in solicitor fees. I can accept that. Like I said, no wedding present for flatmate now. I mean, I'd prefer not to have that happen, but who knows what would have happened if they got in or they got their day in court. There is a non-zero chance that I could have been screwed by a justice system based on some sob story. Even in the likely case I'd win, the only people who would make that money in these things are the lawyers. Punitive damages aren't really a thing here. The courts would just send everyone on their way. At least I'll have a video of my ex failing to pull a fast one on me and the record of her being called to my solicitor's office like they've been called to the office by a head teacher. Quick note on why I didn't just check her things out the door. Flats here tend to open to the outside, not a corridor. So it would be the same as chucking it out on the rain, and there is a legal duty of care. It's called being an involuntary bailee. It sucks, but it's a pretty common landlord problem. And Karen is a Karen. At least twice I've seen her complain in a restaurant to get her meal comped. Rules are a weapon to use against others. She would have absolutely made trouble for me. That's hopefully it. Thanks for sticking with me. Apologies if it didn't live up to your expectations for drama. Hopefully at the very least it will serve as a cautionary tale about changing locks if you ever get dumped. So guys, what did you think about this story? Honestly, I've seen a lot of entitlement on the internet, but I don't necessarily think that this was that. I genuinely think that this was either maliciousness or extreme naivety. Like, did Ghost and Karen not know how leases work? Also, why on earth would the girlfriend give Ghost and Karen a copy of their lease? I really want to know what's happening behind that. I can't believe that these people are in their 40s. Like, how on earth have they lived their life so far? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more stories from Reddit with updates.